turn on garage lights. Oh, I gotta take this off. How the fuck does that come out? So I'm just going by what the instructions tell me. So it says to remove this little green, or not green, but gray little fitting right here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this fuel line, but first I need to go grab a rag. Now, if you guys have worked with fuel fittings before or installed other flex fuel kits, you guys know that these fuel lines are probably under pressure and they're gonna spray everywhere. So we're gonna try to disconnect it without spraying stuff everywhere. Okay, that was pretty easy. A little bit of fuel came out. Now remove the vacuum canister. But I don't know how to disconnect this thing. Oh, okay, so you just push in those tabs. Just comes right out, I guess. Okay. All right. So we're gonna move that out the way. There you go, much better. Now we have more access. Great. We're gonna remove this little gray fitting right here. Try not to drop it. Okay. Push this in while squeezing them together. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, there it goes. Caught on something. So all I did was squeeze this in like that, and it came out. Let's remove this fuel line. There you go. So there's, oh, it's leaking fuel. All right, so here is the flex fuel unit that came with my kit. Now, it's a little bit different than the one that are in the instructions. Now, in the instructions, the fitting looks different, this part right here, and they talk about an O-ring, but this doesn't come with an O-ring. I'm a little confused on how this goes on the fuel line, but it looks like the O-rings are built internally into this fitting, so a little confused. But I assume you're gonna Loctite this part. I'm not sure if you need to Loctite this part. So, and they did provide Loctite in the kit. All right, I went ahead and gave it a test fit, and it actually goes into the fuel line actually quite a ways. So I'm not sure if this little piece actually goes into that little slot on the stock fuel line. I don't know, I'm a little confused, but I guess we'll just add some Loctite to this. But first we need to get this connected to make things easier, like that. So we got that connected. So this fitting is supposed to go over this little ridge, and then you just twist it on just like that. So hopefully it doesn't leak, but we will find out. So this should be almost tightened up now. All right, so we got that taken care of. Now we have two different sections of this wiring harness. This part is gonna go into the engine bay. We're gonna route it all the way around. We will do that later, but first we have to hook up power. I think this is power to the flex fuel unit, but we have to take off the intake first, and we have a grounding wire, which is super easy. It's a 10mm on top, but I'll go ahead and just show you that instead of rambling this whole time. Now where the hell is that plug at? Great. All right, so I was searching for the crankcase heater plug, and I think it's this wire right here. It is no longer being used, and according to the instructions, if you're no longer using the factory turbo inlet, it's probably zip tied out of the way, which it is, only because I have an aftermarket turbo. This is a pure 700, and I think the Visconti harness plugs into this right here. So here's the factory heater hose plug. So I'm just gonna plug the Visconti harness into there. I think that's the right way. It's already zip tied out the way. And the instructions say to take out this little elbow piece right here, but I'm just gonna leave it on there for now. Okay, there's that. Here's the other part of the Visconti harness. They provide a block off. Let me just plug that in there, and then we'll find a place to get the zip tied out of the way, and then we gotta connect the ground wire. So it's a good thing Visconti provides this little block off. We'll zip tie it up here somewhere out of the way, because it's not a 10mm, it's an 8. Put it under that wire right there, and then reinstall our 8mm. All right, next, just go ahead and install the factory intake or whatever intake you have. All right, so next up on the agenda, we have to get this harness routed all the way into the cabin. So we're gonna route this nice and neatly, and we gotta route it under these little panels right here, which should be super easy. You know, guys, I've never done this before. I've never installed a flex fuel kit on a Supra, so please excuse me if I do anything wrong. If I do anything wrong, you notice anything, please comment down below. I think this, we gotta take out this little pop clip right there. There's another one right here. We'll just pop that out. These little clips. Set that aside. There. All right, so we're gonna take that. I wonder, does it go under here? I don't think there's a way, no. We'll just route it all the way to the other side. And we're gonna tuck it down in here. As you can see behind this little weather stripping. Should be more than enough. That's nice and tucked back there. I think we'll try to feed it through this little hole right here. Hopefully that works. Yeah, it does. All right, it fits. The other piece. Now, I do plan on going with port injection in the future. That way we can run, you know, full E85 instead of a E50 or E30 blend. So once the budget allows, we'll go ahead and go that route. But for now, I think this should hold me down just fine. Now, I'm not looking to break records or anything. Again, there's some little tabs back there. There you go. Yeah, it does, I think. Okay. I think the clips are supposed to be attached to this. Just pops right out. Just slide them in. All right, so next we have to route the wiring harness through the firewall. It says this part comes out. Okay, all right, so there. All right, so the instructions don't say if you have to cut a hole through it, but I assume that you do. So let's go ahead and slice that open. Hopefully that's enough. Our first wire fed through. Hopefully it's big enough. That's what, never mind. We're in. And we're gonna get our second wire. Hopefully we can get that fed through also. Okay, so we have to undo that one connector, which is the one closest to the rear, which is this one. Jeez, that thing is pretty tight in there. Oh, okay, gotta pull that lever all the way down. So, there we go. Oh, okay, so there's two tabs. One on this side, and one on the other side. I think that's it. Oh, the bloody hell. All right, I think I figured it out. All right, so I got it like this. And I just stuck my little pick tool like that on each side. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's really hard to film this. There's that side, that side. Just push down just right here on each side. And then now you can see this thing slide off. All right, not too bad once you figure out how to do it. Okay. Then the instruction says these have to slide out. Oh, okay. And this comes apart like that. Okay. And I think these two wires are the ones we're concerned with, these two yellow wires. Went and found the tool that is provided in the kit. So we're gonna try to depin these. Why is it not wanting to come out? Okay, what the hell is going on? Oh, there we go. All right, there's the yellow and white wire. Okay, there we go. All right, cool, not so bad. We're gonna take the provided harness. The yellow and white is gonna plug into this black connector. The outside is the yellow and white. Okay. Hopefully that's in focus. Yeah, got yellow and white in first. Okay, just clicks right in. And then we have the yellow and black wire. It's gonna plug into the second one. Make sure the little tab's facing outboard. Okay, there you go. See that little tab right there? Oh, that's too small, you guys can't see that. Okay. All right, it should click right in place. There we go. I think we'll plug that back in. All right, so I went and grabbed this little green connector. I was reading the instructions. I guess this green lock has to be up. I don't know how to keep it up. It has to be away like that. So I just shook it, and I guess this is the unlock position. So number 1 is the outside one, and number 2 is the top one. All right, so this is number 1. So I guess yellow and black goes here, and then yellow and white goes in number 2. So yellow and black into number 1. There we go. And yellow and white into, so yeah, you can see that, yellow and white to number 2. Come on, there we go. All right, cool. We're locked in. Obviously, now you're gonna plug this into this connector. Is it this connector? Okay. There we go, it's locked in. I think we can plug this back in now. I think it's safe to say that. Okay, so that's locked in place. I'm gonna go ahead and tuck this. That should be good right here. All right, we'll just tuck that in back there. Next we have this connector right here, and this connector. All right, next thing we're gonna do is connect this wire to the wire that we fed through the firewall. All right, so we're gonna tuck that behind the carpet. No big deal. There we go. Now the instructions say, if you mess up the wiring, or if you got the wiring wrong, or you flip the wires and by any chance, then the car simply will not start. All right, so now we got our box. We're gonna connect this wire. It's just the longer wire that you fed through the firewall. We're gonna connect it to where it says signal on the box. Now that everything is connected, I opted for the gauge. I don't think that you need the gauge, to be honest with you, because I think you can talk to your tuner and they'll be able to hijack your sports displays to show your ethanol content. I think also boost also. So they said if you have a gauge, you're gonna mount it up here somewhere. If you don't have a gauge, you're gonna just simply tuck it into this little area right there somewhere. So since we have a gauge, we'll try the gauge out, I guess. Might as well, I paid for it. We're just gonna tuck it up here. We're gonna plug this gauge in to this little spot right here. It looks like a little old telephone connector, and then you should be good to go. So before we put everything together, we're gonna give the car a start and make sure that we have everything connected. And also we're gonna check for fuel leaks. That's very, very important. All right, let's go ahead and double check everything. Let's go ahead and pull on the fuel lines, make sure that they're in there nice and tight, which they are, they're not going anywhere. Just make sure they're not rubbing on anything, which they should be good. Let's go ahead and give it a start. All right, I don't see any fuel leaks, so I think we should be good to go. All right, so let's give this new base map a test run. Now the tuner did say it's toned or turned way down, so let's give it a quick punch. Oh yeah, it's definitely a lot slower. Definitely. Oh man, I'm gonna be honest, that probably feels slower than stock. Let's do it again. Go down to 3rd gear. Let's punch it. Yeah, definitely not as fast as it used to be. Yeah, it's taking a while to get up to speed. Dang. Yeah, definitely not as fast as it used to be. 100% slower. Yeah. Dang, man. Well, we have the tune scheduled for about 2 weeks from now, so I mean, this is fast enough. It's gonna snow here in about a couple of days, so I just wanted to get a quick few test runs in before it does snow on us. All right, so there it is. Flex Fuel Kit is now fully installed, and the job really wasn't all that bad. I got more parts for the Supra sitting right over there, but the car is now on ECUTech, fully on ECUTech, and it's on a base map. So my tuner said it's really toned down, and I took it for a drive for just a bit on the highway, and it feels really slow, like slower than stock. So So I'm pretty sure that will get taken care of not too long from now. But for the meantime, I'm unable to do logs because check this out. Look, we got snow on top of ice. It's like 20 degrees right now. Could barely even drive the Subaru because that's on summer tires right now, the RE71Rs. And that is definitely not a tire you want to be on when there's snow and ice on the road. But yeah, Flex Fuel Kit, super duper easy install. It should take you about an hour or two, taking your time. But in the meantime, that is it. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate your support. Stay awesome, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.